I would like to start off by reflecting on what you stated. You stated, nowhere in the Constitution does it state that the Supreme Court justices have or should have term limits. This is true. I agree with you, and anyone else who is familiar with the Constitution, it would also agree with you because it is written and it is a fact and it is set in stone. Although we are not here to argue or to discuss what is already written and what already is a fact. We know that this is a fact, we know that this is written in the Constitution, but we are here to question whether or not change should be brought to this because it was written such a long time ago. We are here to question whether this is still something that applies to our society today or it doesn't. That is what we are here to talk about. Now, going along with what I just stated, the Supreme Court was established in 1789, which most would consider quite a while ago. So this means not only has time passed, but also there have been changes within the Supreme Court, one being the average amount of time that a justice would generally serve. Calvis Goldie, a writer for the SCOTUS blog, explained that the average amount of years that a Supreme Court justice would generally serve up until Richard Nixon's presidency was around 15 years. And according to the writers of Fix-A-Court, the average amount of years since then that a Supreme Court justice now serves is about 28 years, which is quite a difference. Not only is the average amount of time that these justices would serve something that we the people should look at, but also we should take a look at the differences in the issues that came to the Supreme Court. For example, much more pressing issues regarding civil rights have come to the Supreme Court over the past few years. For example, Roe v. Wade, which made it legal for a woman to have abortions if needed. Also, Obergefell v. Hodges, which gave same-sex couples the right to marriage. Now, these rights are things that our society has come to be more open about and wanting more of this right, which were not seen when the Supreme Court was established in 1789, because these issues, which were civil rights issues, did not come to the Supreme Court case. So there is a big difference in what the Supreme Court deals with, which is why we need to take into consideration what these changes and differences are, because there is a lot of differences. You mentioned in your argument how in the Constitution it clearly states that the president, for example, has its own term limit. Now, I have a question for you. We know that presidents, people who are senators, governors, they'll have term limits. Now, I ask you personally, do you think that it is appropriate for there to be term limits on every other position except for this one? And why so? Because for me, it does not make much sense for this one position, a Supreme Court justice, to not have a term limit, while other positions do have term limits. When you discuss the new bill that the Democratic Party has proposed, which it has to do with term limits, specifically an 18-year term limit for justices on the Supreme Court, you stated that there could be loopholes around this, which would allow for Supreme Court justices who have previously already been a justice to continue and stay on the Supreme Court. Now I ask you, what exact loopholes are you referring to?